everyone. In our previous video, we discussed about our fifth chapter, Industrial Sickness. We discussed the Altman Z-score model there, and even we solved one problem. In this video, we will discuss 15 marks problem. Before diving into the video, we have to understand some of the things here. See, in your previous video, everything was given directly. Working capital was given, retained earning was given, total asset was given, EBIT, market value of equity, book value of debt, as well as the sales. Everything was given, so you just put the values in the formula and you got the value of Z. But in 15 marks problem, they won't give every information directly. Okay, we have to find it out. So here we have some financial ratios x1, x2, x3, x4 as well as the xy, right? So I'll take the first one, x1. To calculate x1, the formula is working capital divided by total assets. So how do we have to calculate the working capital? Working capital can be calculated by current assets minus current liabilities by applying this formula. If we know what are the current assets and if we know what are the current liabilities, then we can easily find out the working capital. Current assets are those assets which can be converted into cash within 1 year. Current liabilities are those liabilities which can be paid within 1 year. So what are those liabilities? Like bills payable, creditors, right? Bank overdraft. So all these are your current liabilities. Current assets like bills receivable, debtors, stock, cash, right? All these are your current assets. So if you deduct the value of current assets from the current liabilities, you will get the working capital. Okay, I hope you are clear with this. Next we have to calculate the total asset. So how do we have to calculate it? I'll take one example here to show you how to calculate the total assets. See here, in this example, the total asset value is given as 30 lakhs. Okay, 30 lakh is the value of total asset. But sometimes they give us the accumulated losses, or we call it as, I'll write here, accumulated losses or profit and loss debit balance, which means loss, right? If they give accumulated losses or profit and loss debit balance, that time from this total asset we have to deduct these values. Okay, then we will get the total asset. Are you getting my point? From the total asset given in the balance sheet, from that we have to deduct profit and loss debit balance, or if they give accumulated loss as in your question, then that we have to deduct accumulated losses. Then we get the total asset which we want. Clear with this? This is the first method to calculate the total asset. One more method is to calculate the total asset, that is second. If they give information like this, see here, goodwill has no realizable value. If this kind of information is given regarding goodwill, that time what we have to do is, from the total asset we have to deduct the value of goodwill. Okay, we have to deduct the value of goodwill, then we get the total asset, what we want. In this question, 30 lakh is our total asset. From this 30 lakh, if we deduct the 4 lakh, we will get the 26 lakh as our total asset. This is the second method to calculate. But the question arises here, why are we deducting the value of goodwill, right? Yeah, goodwill deduct ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ because the goodwill value has no realizable value now. Goodwill the ಬೆಲೆ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇಲ್ಲ, that's why we are deducting the goodwill from our total asset. Okay, moving on to the second thing, that is retained earnings. We have just discussed about working capital, how to calculate, and now total assets. Now I am moving to now I have moved to tell you that how to calculate the retained earnings. Okay, say return earnings can be calculated by applying one formula. It's not formula, that you can call it as formula: reserve plus surplus. Okay, reserve plus surplus, together it is retained earnings. This is, you can call it as formula, or you can just add it up, you will get the retained earnings. Okay, this is the first thing. Second, retained earnings can be calculated by applying one more formula, or the just adding up two things: reserve plus profit and loss account credit balance. Okay, these two and this one, the second one and this first one are same, just here the word surplus has used, and here the word profit and loss account credit balance has used. Okay, so there are no changes in it. I'll show you in example. See here, general reserve they have given, right? And they have given us the profit and loss account. This profit and loss account is written on the liability side. Why? Because it is a credit balance. Credit balance shows us the surplus. That's why they have written on the liability side. Okay, so general reserve plus profit and loss account credit balance, together we call it as retained earnings. Okay, if this balance is written on the asset side, profit and loss account, which means that this is a loss. It shows the debit balance, that's why they have written it on the asset side. If it is a credit balance, then they will obviously write it on the liability side. Clear with this? Fine. Next, here it has to be divided by the total assets, then we get the X2. Just we discussed about the total asset. Next we have the EBIT. How to calculate the EBIT? EBIT is directly given in your question every time, no need to worry about it. Total asset, we just know how to calculate. Next we have is market value of equity. Okay, this is important, and this we will discuss while calculating the problem. Next we have is book value of total debt. Here the word total debt itself says us that it means short term debt plus long term debt. Long term plus short term will be total debt. Okay, so short term debts are like bills payable, creditors, bank overdraft, and long term debt are like debentures, long term debt. Okay, so all these will be your total debt. While calculating the problem, you will have an idea how to add or how to calculate the total debt. Clear? Next we have sales, which is already given in your question directly. Idamele EBIT directly they will give it to you. Total assets, you guys know how to calculate. Okay, so everything was not given in your question properly. Sorry, directly avdu kodalla, we have to calculate it. So if you want to calculate it, you have to know how to calculate these values. Okay, if you know that properly, then you can easily calculate the question. Okay, moving on to the problem. Let's take one problem. From the following balance sheet of XYZ Limited given below along with the other financial details, let's see what is the problem. Balance sheet as on 31st/3/2016. Liabilities, asset and amount they have given. This is the horizontal format. Equity share capital of rupees 10 each. Amount is given 10 lakh. General reserve 50. Profit and loss account 1 lakh 20. 10% debenture 15 lakhs. Bills payable 1 lakh 30. Creditors 2 lakh. On the other hand, right hand side they have given us goodwill 4 lakh, which is an intangible asset. Machinery 13 lakhs, building 5 lakhs, stock, debtors and cash. These are our current assets, right? So the values of these current assets are 4 lakh, 2 lakh 50, 1 lakh 50, and it has been balanced by 30 lakhs. Okay. Other information is also given. Sales for the year 15-16 is 12 lakh. Earning before interest and tax, that is EBIT. EBIT is given directly sales is given directly. So 90,000 they have given. EBIT, market price per share, this information is new to you guys. I'll tell you how to calculate or take into consideration while calculating the problem. Next we have the goodwill, has no realizable value. This information they have given. What have they asked us to comment on the financial position of XYZ based on the Altman Z-score model. First we have to calculate the Altman Z-score. On the basis of this got score value of Z, we have to comment on. Okay, we have to comment. So how do we have to calculate this Z score? First thing is that we have to calculate x1 value, then x2, x3, x4 as well as the x5. First all these financial ratios we have to calculate. After getting values of these ratios, we have to put the values of these ratios into the Z formula. Z score model ಇನ್ನೇನಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಇದು ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸನ್ನು fill ಮಾಡಿ we will get the Z score value. Okay, this is the process. So first what we have to calculate x1. What is x1? What is the formula of it? Working capital divided by total asset. Okay, this is our formula of x1. So what is the working capital? How do we have to calculate it? Working capital we just discussed, current assets minus current liabilities, right? Current assets nalli current liabilities minus madidre namge ಏನು ಸಿಗ್ತೈತ್ರಿ? Working capital. So in our question, what are the current assets? See, goodwill is an intangible. See, if it is asset means we have to look at the asset side only. So goodwill is an intangible asset, no need to worry about it. It is a non-current asset. Machinery, non-current asset. Tangible asset. Building, tangible asset, non-current asset. Stock is current asset, right? Debtors, current asset. Cash, current asset, because these can be converted into cash within 1 year. So that's why these all are our current assets. So we got now what are our current assets? Stock plus debtors plus cash. So three things are our current assets. Now we have to find out what are the current liabilities. So see here, equity share capital, this is a capital. Okay, general reserve and profit and loss account, these two values are retained earnings. As we just discussed about this, retained earnings and profit and loss account, these two are our retained earnings. 10% debenture, 10% debenture, this is long term debt. What is this? This is long term debt. So we can't take under the current liabilities, because the liabilities which can be paid within 1 year, those are our current liabilities, right? So debenture are the long term debt, we can't consider it as a long current liability, right? So what are the current liabilities? We have only two current liabilities here, bills payable and creditors. So these two are our current liabilities. So from these current assets, if we deduct these two values, we get the working capital, right? Clear with this? Okay, I'll just show you the calculation how to calculate the working asset. See here, calculation of working capital. Working capital equals to current assets minus current liabilities. Current assets are debtors, cash and stock. Total of it is 8 lakh less current liabilities. Directly you can write the values or just add it up and take the total value. 1,30,000 plus 2 lakh, together it is 3,30,000. From 8 lakh, if you deduct 3,30,000, we'll get 4,70,000 as our working capital. First we got our working capital, right? Next thing is that we have to calculate the total asset. How do we have to calculate it? See here, total asset is given 30 lakhs. I'll show you in the question. Total assets are 30 lakhs, right? And to calculate the total asset, we have to just check out whether have they given us the losses. No, they haven't given us the losses. Accumulated losses or profit and loss account debit balance, they haven't given, right? This information is not given. Instead of this, what have they given? They have given one more information. Goodwill has no realizable value, right? This information is given to us, which means that what we have to do here, goodwill the bele ille illa, That's why we have to deduct the goodwill value from the total asset. Total asset value is 30 lakhs. From this 30 lakh, if we deduct the 4 lakh, we'll get the 26 lakh as our total asset. I'll show the calculation how to do. See here, total assets are 30 lakhs. From this, we are deducting the value of goodwill. We got the 26 lakh as our total assets, and this total assets are applicable in all the financial ratios. Okay, so here now we can calculate the value of X1, that is working capital divided by total asset. The working capital value is 4,70,000, right? 4,70,000 divided by, and we just calculated the total asset, that is 26 lakh. So if we simplify this, we get one value, that is 0.1807, and this is our X1 value, right? We got our first financial ratio, that is X1. Clear with this? Now we have to calculate X2 value. How to calculate the X2 value? What is the formula of X2? Retained earnings divided by total asset. This is our formula. So just see the question. Do we have retained earnings? Yes, we have, but we have to calculate it. They have not given us directly in the question. See here, general reserve and profit and loss account, these two will be our retained earnings, right? 50,000 plus 1,20,000. 1,70,000 will be our in Act 3 retained earnings, right? And the total asset we just calculated 26 lakh rupees. So 1,70,000 divided by 26 lakh, you will get your X2 value. We will see in the book. See here, calculation of retained earnings. You can write the formula or you can directly solve it. But please show the working notes while calculating these financial ratios. General reserve value is 50,000. Profit and loss account, that is a credit balance. That's why we are adding here 1,20,000. Total it will come to 1,70,000, right? This is our retained earnings. And we know the value of total asset. We just calculated 26 lakh. So retained earnings are 1,70,000 and the total assets are 26 lakh. The value will come to 0.0654. This is the X2 value. Next we have to calculate X3. The formula of X3 is EBIT divided by total asset. Have they given us the EBIT in our question? Let's see the question first. Have they given us? Yes. In the second information, they have given us the EBIT, that is 90,000. And sales also they have given us 12 lakhs, right? Okay. So EBIT they have given, it means that we can take the value directly, right? So EBIT is now 90,000 divided by total assets are 26 lakh, right? We calculated. So the value will come to 0.034. After simplifying this, you will get 0.0346. This is your X3 value. Okay. Now the calculation of X4. So how do we have to calculate this? The formula of it is market value of equity shares divided by book value of total debt. Okay, I have written here in short. Do not write your shortcuts please in your exam. Please write at length. Okay, ಏನೇನು ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೇವೆಲ್ಲ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ನೀವು ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಲೆಂತ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೀರಿ, ಶಾರ್ಟ್ಕಟ್ ಬರಿಬೇಡ್ರಿ. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೈ ಹಂಬಲ್ ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಟು ಯು ಆಲ್. Okay, so market value of equity shares divided by book value of total debt. This is our formula. So see here in the question they have given us one information. Equity share capital is 10 lakh and the per price share is rupees 10. Capital they have given us and wait a minute. Okay, capital they have given us and they have given us price per share. One share ಬೆಲೆ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ ಅದು ಕೊಟ್ಟಾರ, ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ ಅದು ಕೊಟ್ಟಾರ. So from this given information what we can calculate? we can calculate the number of shares. ನಮ್ಮ ಕಡೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಅದಾವ ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಹೌ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್? ಸಿ, ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಈಸ್ 10 lakh divided by price per share is 10. So if you divide it, you will get 1 lakh. So this 1 lakh is only your number of shares. This is easy to calculate. Capital divided by price per share, you will get the number of shares, right? So we got now number of shares. Okay, why we are calculating this? Because they have given us the market price per share. Market price per share they have given rupees 3. So if we multiply it with number of shares, you will get the market value of equity shares. To calculate the market value of equity shares, we have to do all these things. I'll neatly tell you. First, what we have to do is we have to calculate the number of equity shares. Okay, we have to calculate the number of equity share by applying one formula, that is equity share capital divided by price of equity share. Okay, price of equity share. After calculating this, we get the number of equity shares. The second step what we have to do is number of equity shares has to be multiplied by market price of equity share. So the market price of equity share is given here as per share is rupees 3. So 1 lakh, just we calculated into 3, you got the 3 lakh as our equity share capital. Okay, see in the, just see here what they have done. Equity share capital is rupees 10 lakh, which has been divided by number of each or per price share rupees 10. You get the number of equity shares, right? 1 lakh. So after getting the number of shares, what you have to do? You just have to multiply it by market price per share. So market price per share here is rupees 3, as we know in the question. So 1 lakh into 3, you will get the market value of equity, right? You get the market value of equity. After getting this, we can put this value in the formula. So 3 lakh is your market value of equity divided by book value of total debt. So now what we have to do? We have to calculate the total debt value. What we have to do? We have to calculate the total debt value. See in the question. We just took this information. We know these are related to retained earnings, and now only 3 things or 3 points have remained. First is of 10% debenture, which is a long-term debt. Next is about bills payable, which is a current liability, as well as we can call it as short-term debt. And we have one more information, that is creditors, which is a short-term debt, as well as we can call it as current liabilities. So all these 3 will be considered as the total debt. Long-term debt plus short-term debt. These 2 are short-term debt and 1 is our long-term debt. So these 3 will be considered as the total debt. Okay, so 15 lakh plus 1 lakh 30 plus 2 lakh. Okay, see here I haven't calculated here. See, I haven't calculated here. I have just taken one amount, that is of 10% debenture. You just have to add the bills payable amount and the creditors amount, and it will come to 18,30,000. Okay, the value will come to 18,30,000. So now we can calculate the value of X4. Market value of equity is 3 lakh. 3 lakh we have taken, and the book value of total debt is 18,30,000 that we have taken. And then after simplifying that, you will get one value, 0.1639. This is your X4 value. Okay, this is your X4 value. Moving on to the X5 value. The formula of X5 is sales divided by total assets, right? So as I just said, sales value is given in your question. In the other information 12 lakhs, and we know the value of total asset, that is 26 lakh. So 12 lakh divided by 26 lakh, you will get one value 0.4615. This is our X5 value. Okay, after calculating all these financial ratios, we have to calculate now the z-score value. Okay, so the z-score formula is 1.2 x1 plus 1.4 x2 plus 3.3 x3 plus 0.6 x4 plus 1.0 x5, right? This is the formula. What we have to do next is to put the values which we have just calculated, x1, x2, x3 values, you have to put it in the formula. So 1.2 x1 value is 0.1807, right? Then plus 1.4 into x2 value is, just we calculated 0.0654, right? Plus x 3.3 as it is we keep, and if there is nothing, it means that there is multiplication. If there is nothing, it means that there is multiplication. Okay, so x3 value is 0.0346, okay, which has been continued in the next page. See here, okay, 0.6, this is x4 value and this is x5 value. 0.6 into x4 value is 0.1639 plus 1.0 as it is we keep, that has to be multiplied by x5 value. x5 value is 0.4615. Okay, after simplifying this, you will get the 0.9825. This is very simple to calculate. There is nothing much in this. Just addition and multiplication is there. Just you have to multiply those items and then you have to add these values, you will get the z-score value. Okay, we have calculated in our first 5 marks problem. If you don't know how to calculate this, please go and watch that video, you will get an idea. Okay, so now our z-score value is 0.9825. In our question, they have asked us to comment on the z value. Okay, we have to write the comment also. If they ask or they don't, that is secondary. We compulsory have to write the comment. Okay, the calculated z-score value is 0.982. The value is below 1.81. It shows the definite failure of the company. As we have discussed in our previous video, there were some guidelines given by Altman, and he has given some values also. So if the value is below 1.81, which shows the definite failure of the company, right? So we have to write that comment. Along with that, according to guideline of Altman, given by Altman, z-score calculated value of z, that this z is below 2.675. So what he is saying, 2.675 is the value which has been given by Altman. Okay, our calculated value of z is below this value, right? Below this value. That's why we can say here, or we can comment here, that the company is heading towards the bankruptcy. Okay, if the value is below 2.675, the calculated value of us is 0.9825, which is below 2.675. That's why we can say the company is heading towards bankruptcy. If the value is more than 2.675, we can say the company is financially sound. Okay, clear with this? I hope you understanding this. If you don't know what are these values, how we are commenting these all things, just please watch the 5 marks question and the previous video. Will get an idea about it. So I hope you guys are clear with this question. Okay.